Call Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, Bashim Dash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone over well. I am not a member, however, I have entered into their labors. Peace, mercy, and blessings to the sincere brothers and sisters doing this review, or whatever your lot may be, at you with the final installment, the season finale of my feeble mind, I'll be forgetting. It's deception or deceive, persuade, change, influence, and inspire. That is one of the all-encompassing words we'll say is propaganda. And that is Esau's MO against the people of the Lord, who are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right, so outright they cannot just physically, do what they did before, but now it's a chains on the mind. I don't know why I'm stuttering. Yeah, they got the chains on the mind. So here we go. I pulled up a couple of things. We'll get a couple scriptures, and that'll be it. I don't foresee, if the Spirit says so, then that's a different thing. But I don't foresee this being very long. I just want to hit a couple of points, get a couple of precepts. This is just to make folks aware of how deep the enchantments go, and it's in everything. Everything that you look at, even on down to, if some of you who are that may be into film and shooting, even on down to what they zoom in on, or what angle that the object that they want you to focus on is. It could be in the corner of the angle wherever they're shooting, but it's the things around it are dim, which make you focus on what they want you to see. There are many different ways, and that is that's just the way that Chaldeans, the New Age Babylonians. Okay, Babylon 2.0, Rome 2.0, that's just how they get down. And that is a part of their weapon. That is a part of the sword to control the mind, right? And they want to get a little deeper and control everything else physically. You know what I'm saying. All right, so here we go. 50 powerful examples of visual propaganda and the meanings behind them. So we're on inspiration and inspire, and you can, like I said, all of these other words are interchangeable, but I just broke them down one by one. Okay, some of these you've seen, some of these you haven't. Very popular, Che Guevara, very popular in the quote, the communist movement, or the like the counterculture and freedom fighter kind of movement. And you would think that he is Northern Kingdom, but he's an Edomite. His grandfather or great grandfather came to Chile, I believe, or somewhere in South America. I can't remember. His great grandfather is an Edomite. Look him up, and he's tied into some pretty powerful people, elites, which makes me think that he may be have been set up, of course, to subvert the government uh, of the. Why can't I talk? To subvert that government, right? To influence the minds of the people. And you know the rest. You know the story of Sheikh Bear. If you don't, look it up yourself. All right, and here we go right here. The black Christian savior. Okay, and you have even the thing of the science of colors. Okay, and what certain colors induce in the mind. Okay, we can do it, right? And that feeds into the. You should look into the history of this one especially. Um, which feeds into the modern day feminist action, right? And getting women in the workforce was a way to tax everybody, you know, and you know that your taxes don't go to making anything better. So we don't even have to go deep into that. Here we go. Another very, very popular, I'm sure everyone has seen. All right, and they always set up their recruiting stations in Jake neighborhoods. I've seen so many recruiting stations in the lower income areas. They're readily available. I never see recruiting stations in well-to-do areas. Is that to say that there aren't any? Not at all. But generally speaking, recruiting stations are just as prevalent in low-income areas as these well-kept monuments of favor, monuments of failure that you would refer to as the church, right? Catholic church or Baptist church or Seventh-day Adventist church. It's basically an idolatrous whorehouse in more ways than one, because the women in there are whores, and it is a whorehouse in a way of spiritual fornication. Um, keep going. What we got? Now, this is new. What did you do? Okay. This one I haven't seen. So this poster was created by British illustrator Seville Lumley and was used in World War One to compel men with families to enlist. The aim of the poster was to strike at their pride. Do you see that? You see that? You see how you do, and you get the inspiration, and that is why you have. I like how these were put together. So that's the Uncle Sam version. That's the British Uncle Sam version, I guess. Okay, persuading them that in the future their children would judge them not for their decision to support their family back home, but for their wartime contribution. And I no words. Look at that. And there's so many things in this picture, right? The baby's pointing to, I guess a history book, and you got the kid at the bottom playing with the toy soldiers, and look at the gun, the cannon. Look at that, man. Is that fleur de lis? No. I don't know what these little designs are. But you can't put anything past this devil, so you got to look at every little piece of thing when you dissect this stuff, right? But we'll get a scripture real quick. Okay, so there's help not in Egypt, but Yahweh. And of course, he's talking to his own people, the so called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, who are the Israelites of the Bible. Okay, woe to them that go down to Egypt for help and stay on horses and trust in chariots, because they are many, and in horsemen because they are very strong, but they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek the Lord. All right, so this space is spiritual Egypt, right? And it's spiritual Babylon, it's spiritual Sodom and Gomorrah, and their weapons are carnal. Okay, and our people have looked to this devil for long enough, and they've been psychologically programmed, right? Through visual things, and through especially that image of white Jebus, okay, and many different images of things that you will see in the church, uh, on down to uh, showing how big a one nation is on a map and how small another nation is on a map. It goes deep, and they look at him as, without him you can't do anything. So that's why so many of our people ran down and stuck their arm out when he, said, you can't work if you don't do this, or you ain't gonna keep this job, right? Not even knowing that you have a savior, a direct line through Yahweh Shai, with prayer and fasting, and just belief, that you wouldn't need to go on down to Egypt, right? You trust in Yahweh, okay? Yet he's also wise. Yet he also is wise and will bring evil, and will not call back with his word, but will rise against the house of the evildoer and against the help of them that work iniquity. Okay. And here's what I wanted. Here's the point. 31 and 3. Now the Egyptians are men and not God, and their horses flesh. Okay, and horses are a symbol of power, right? So in this day, their modern day horse would be their planes, their aircraft, such, these tanks, and these MRAPs and Humvees and all that other stuff. These heavily armored land cruisers and shit, all of that, right? When Yahweh shall stretch out his hands, both he that helpeth shall fall, and he that is hoping shall fall, and they all shall fall together. So you see some of these pictures, and I'm just using these pictures as an example. But a lot of people will hold up signs that were put together by their enemy during a protest, and that shows that you are in favor of this devil's you're in favor of this devil's agenda, which means that you're going to be partakers in the plagues that he receives. Okay, what is it? Be careful what you say. You never know who's on the wires. You see, they got Adolf, on there on the telephone. And I believe off face value, I guess this is, somebody's listening in. That's what it seems like. Okay. This simple poster is from the Second World War, sent a clear message to civilians of the Allied powers that the Germany had means of listening into their communications. And, if you think that you're not being listened to now, you're sadly mistaken. Right? You'll say certain things, and next thing you know, ads will pop up for those things that you've never typed once into your search engine. Uh, what else? And then this is a way to control people by fear. Okay, and this is through the use of imagery, you control a population by fear, not by a physical means. Okay, Worldwide, created by J. Howard Miller. hmm To boost the morale of women who already worked at the company rather than to recruit women to come to work. The poster was rediscovered in the early 80s and used to promote feminism, right? It is often mistaken for Rosie the Riveter, whatever. No, don't care. Let's keep going. Oh, here we go. Some more propaganda. This is Chinese Rosie the Riveter. And China, to put in perspective, China is simply would be the labor division of this one world government, or this one world order. They would be the labor division. So, these Edomites in Western Europe and here in America, they own contracts and then they export that labor to China, right? And then China can get the resources and get the raw materials and turn them into whatever products that will be exported back here or to wherever else they're going to go. We might as well go over it since we're here. All right, Jim Fitzpatrick, and based on a famous photograph by Alberto Corda, this image became famous worldwide during the Vietnam War protests and was used during the Paris student riot in 1960. It is used as everything from revolutionary. That's the word I was looking for. This picture is talks. This picture is a representation of a revolution, inspiring icon to a retro logo. And again, he's an Edomite. His great grandfather is an Edomite. Uh, famous photograph. Yeah. So, and then I did say you'll be partakers of the plagues when you use these things. So I bet it ain't gonna. I bet it won't show up. Oh, okay. So Revelation 18:4. Let's get that. Um, Babylon is fallen, right? And it is on its way. It's well on its way. It has tripped and it is stumbling, but it is about to completely hit the ground. And we'll read 18:3 because for all this is just so applicable. For all nations have drunk of the wine, philosophies, the things that they want you to believe, right? Through deception, through persuasion slash coercion, through um, uh, through influence, dang it, and through inspiration, they get the people to drink of the wine. All right, and that wine would be the philosophy of this devil to have you eventually meet your end, a bitter, hot end, a hot and bitter end, right? And that is why America is named the way it is named, by Amargo Vespucci, I believe is his name, who named this land, right? They heap unto themselves. And goodness, I lost my train of thought. Oh, that in America, what is bitter? Bitter in the Italian. Elder Apostle Gabar goes into that quite a bit. I believe that. I believe that's how you spell it. Huh, in Spanish, not in English. Damn it. Bitter. There you go. Yeah, it means it's Portuguese, or you can go into the Italian. Bitter. Amargo. Cruel. Mm. And the way this place was set up, It is how it's going to go out. It is starting to reap what it has sown, right? Because they got this land by bloodshed and theft. And so you have to reap that. And that's the beauty of the Lord, is that nobody gets away except for the blood of him that shed it. That's what we need. I believe it's in Numbers, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, Numbers 35 and 30. Numbers 35 and 33. So we'll go there while we're on the subject. 35, 33. All right. So ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are. And the Lord is talking to us, where we went into our land, but we have been kicked out of that, and ever since heathen have been dwelling in it, right? And Jerusalem shall be trodden down to the time of the end by the Gentiles. Roughly paraphrase. I'll get that next. Okay, but it still stands because they have taken the covenant, and the statutes of the Lord into their mouths, and they lied and said that they were a Christian nation, that they live by the ways of the Bible. So now you are going to be held accountable. Beautiful to watch you fall. For the blood of it defileth the land, and the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it. Right? And his word don't go out void, does it? Absolutely not. That is an emphatic no. Um, a bastard in Ashdod, or that might be in Matthew, if I'm not mistaken. Luke. Man. Well, a lot of them, a lot of them repeat themselves. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. A lot of them uh, do tell the same account. So Luke 21 and 24. All right, and let's get the red letter. Those are the words of Yahweh Shai. All right, and straight to the point, Luke 21 and 24. And they that shall fall by the edge of the sword and shall be led away captive, and this was 70, talking about 70 AD. Shall fall by the sword and shall be led away captive to the nation, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times the Gentiles be fulfilled. And you can go to, is it 20? Right, so his his time isn't be filled. He's got his little season, right? When the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison. So we're upon the end of his sentence of, or I'm sorry, we're upon the end of his freedom. Okay, and he's gonna go out and deceive. So he's not done, and that is what he does. Okay, so that's why we covered that, and he shall go out to deceive the nations between the four quarters of the earth, and he's done that. But now the Lord has opened up the eyes of his people and opened up the eyes of the heathen as well, because it says in our time, in this time, that your sons and daughters will dream dreams. Everybody's going to see something. Even the heathen are going to be able to see something. And what did they do? They get on the internet, they get on TikTok, and they talk about it. And nothing can be done against this truth, only forward. So call Holo Yahweh Bashmi outside, the master chess player, knowing what he's going to do, declaring the times before they happen, right? And giving that word unto his prophets and his people so they can proclaim it. All right, and showing the power of Yahweh Bashmi Shai. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So I kind of went off into something. I was getting other precepts. All right, so we got that. Let's take a look at some more of these. I'll do my best to link them in the description box, and we'll call it quits here. Pretty soon, pretty soon. All right, the worst thief is the one who steals the playtime of children. Oh, I'm guessing it's a child labor law. All right, this poster goes against child. Boom. All right, working while at large, portly man looks on with bags of money at his feet. That could even be attributed to what we have now, because everything you do, your hourly wages that you work, all go towards a large, portly man with bags at his feet. All right, and then you have the arrested development of children who later become adults and are just incompetent. All right, stealing their innocence in childhood due to the incredibly dangerous nature of the jobs they were forced to work. All right. But you know, E loves to steal innocence of children. I don't know what it is with them and children. Mm. Recruiting, right? 1915. Appeal to the sense of patriotism of its audience, using the British flag as a symbol to encapsulate what needed protecting. And what do you see? Do you see the similarities of theirs and ours and how they are flag worshippers? Oh, it's very boom. There we go. The flag right there, ours or theirs, I should say. Don't let that shadow touch them. Buy war bonds. Oh, look at the shadow. Help us fund the war. Encourage people to buy war bonds was incredibly popular propaganda message. And an example that can be seen here. It shows three children underneath the shadow of the Nazi symbol, along with the message, "Don't let the shadow touch them." Buy war bonds. This message implies that if you don't support the war financially, harm could come to your children. Playing on people's fears was incredibly successful, and it continues to be incredibly successful. Hmm. Interestingly enough, this is the British flag, but in America they tried to do that. But you know, if you should look at the Vietnam War stories. Just type it in on YouTube. You know, black vets in Vietnam horror stories or something like that. And the ugly things they did. Some of them didn't even weren't even given weapons. Okay, see that volunteer. And see, getting more pawns to die for greed. Someone talked. Loose lips sank ships, right? This post was created in World War II aimed at dissuading people from talking about the war, revealing important information about the U.S. Navy to potential spies, right? It depicts a man floating in a body of water. Again, playing on people's fears. And if you're not talking about the war because you don't want spies to hear, then you can't talk about information that is pertinent, like why are we going to war? Okay. So in this sense, it would be like, you know, why we're over there in Ukraine and why we're sending billions of dollars to Ukraine if they're supposedly winning. Right? So all of this stuff comes full circle. All right, so you can look for your own country's sake. You got women in there. Okay. So you can look on this on your own. I actually want to link this one as well. And you see the title. Okay, so this is field manual. So this 3-05, right? Marine Corps something. I don't know. Marine Corps something publication. I can't remember. Um, and hey, here it is. This was in '03, might I add. Mm-hmm. All right. So it's 439 pages. I will also try to link this in there. You should check it out. You should definitely check this out. Okay. 4-step intelligence preparation. All right. I'm not gonna go very deep into it. You can see the contents and all right, terminology. So you look that up. You have a good old look see, right? You know, get you some water, some cucumber water, I don't know, some aloe vera water. Sit down and give this baby a little perusing. You check it out. I'm not gonna go into it because I'm pretty sure this won't get posted if I do go into it, right? So I will end. I will leave you with a very popular nowadays, very popular scripture, but it's super fitting. Damn it. It's super fitting and it's something that you should take to heart and you should never, ever, ever forget. Even if you need to write it on a piece of paper and put it in your wallet and just look at that piece of paper from time to time. but I want you to drill it into your head. This is Ecclesiasticus, better known or also known as Sirach, chapter 12, starting at verse 10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Right? Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hadst wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away. Okay, you can continue to read that you should not set him by you. All right, you just keep that, even if you got to write it out. Put it on your window, put it on your mirror. So when you wake up in the morning, it's a friendly reminder. And I believe you can know who your enemies are, right? Through Psalms 83, if I'm not mistaken, or 82. But it lists the tabernacles of Edom, and it lists Amalek, what is the chief house of Edom. So with that being said, hey, I pray that you were edified. All right, and now you are armed with more information on how the many ways this devil gets to do, or gets into the mind and the psyche of the people in order to control them. So there you go. Shalom.